Good morning. I wanted to read another excerpt from my new book, Moe Fields, which I hope you'll have a chance to read and enjoy. The story is about my father, who grew up during the Depression and fought in the 1932 Golden Gloves, and then became a bootleg boxer, which, for those who don't understand, used to be in Brooklyn a boxing ring at the back of a bar, and both semi-professionals and professionals, after their prime, would fight locally in the neighborhood. Folks would gamble over the fighting, and it was a place where my dad could make some money and bring it home to help his family survive during the Depression. The book goes on to talk about his later years in the Navy during World War II, starting a plumbing business in New Jersey and raising a family, and most importantly, the struggles and challenges he faced later in life, having a brain tumor, being paralyzed on the side of his body and recovering, and dealing with a horrific car accident that crippled my mother at 44. It's really a story about family, triumph over trauma, and but the overriding image that runs through the story is the fighter, Moe Fields, which really was an alias for my dad, Murray Goldstein. So I'm just going to read you a scene in the book, or early on in the book, fight scene from a bootleg fight. It was one of the toughest ones my dad had. As a young man of 20, Murray found his heart inside a boxing ring. He learned not to fear anything or anybody. What he took from his years as a bootleg fighter was attitude. He missed the crowd at Rosie's bar. He could hear the noise of the boxing ring in the back. It was late. The ring announcer was egging on the crowd for someone to fight the undefeated Rocco Rosetti. No one moved. Rocco had been on the bootleg fight scene for several years. He knocked out 38 opponents and nearly killed 2 fighters. Rocco's skills were fine-tuned during his years fighting as a professional. At 42, he was long past any hope of a shot at the title. Sports writers claimed Rocco had the guts of a fighter, but lacked the control. He was simply too emotional, wrote a columnist. Crazy is the way another reporter put it. If he got hurt, Rosetti would completely lose his composure and his game plan. But he was well suited for Rosie's bootleg boxing scene. The crowd wanted blood. In his final years of boxing, Rocco gained a following in the local neighborhood. It was not uncommon for Rocco to lose his temper and beat a fighter into unconsciousness. His 260-pound, 6'4" frame would tower over his opponents. At Rosie's, the referee were not capable of pulling Rocco off someone once he got angry. Rocco got angry often. The ring announcer begged the crowd. No one was anxious to come forward and face Rocco. They valued their life. People held out cash waiting to place bets. The cheers soon died down. No one was coming forward. Soon a heavy-set man walked down to the ring and waved the announcer to come over. "Ladies and gentlemen, I have just chatted with Ian Knight, the owner of Rosie's. He has agreed to pay the unprecedented sum of $100 to anyone who lasts 3 rounds with Rocco." As the crowd calmed down, a voice called out, "I'll do it." Chaos took over the ringside. Patrons strained to see where the voice was coming from. Soon a tall figure started to make his way down the aisle. As Murray reached ringside, the announcer walked over and asked his name. "Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have a fighter in the house. He is no stranger to Rosie's. He's homegrown. He's a former Golden Gloves competitor. At Rosie's, he's been undefeated in 25 fights. At 220 pounds, standing 6'2", from the streets of Brooklyn, I give you Moe Fields." Moe climbed into the ring. He stripped down to his sleeveless t-shirt. There was no time to change his clothes in the locker room. Moe looked across the ring at Rocco's bulging arms and trunk-like legs. His plan was to jab and move around the ring. He felt he had enough experience to last 3 rounds and collect his whopping $100. The bell rang. Rocco moved across half the ring before Moe could leave his corner. Moe jabbed with his left and moved to clear the circle. Rocco's head snapped back. The opportunity was there and Moe took it. He landed a hard right cross to Rocco's face. Pandemonium broke out as Rocco went down on one knee. The smoke in the arena was thick. People were drinking and whooping it up. Rocco was stunned as the referee started the count. Moe was equally stunned. He had hardly broken a sweat. He returned to his corner. Life is never as easy as it seems to be. Rocco was up by the count of 8. He blinked his eyes to shake the cobwebs. Blood filled his face with rage. He started spitting to his left and right. The ref had his hands full trying to hold Rocco back. He broke free and came at Moe. His arms were swinging wildly. Moe had been deceived by the early knockdown. Moe tried to move in a circle and get his jab working. Rocco cut him off and pummeled him. Moe moved back against the ropes, hoping he could escape. Rocco would not let him go. He grabbed Moe in a headlock and kept punching his face. It took forever until the referee could separate them. By the end of round 1, Moe was bleeding from a cut above his right eye. His lip was split. His head felt like he had been hit by a truck. By the middle of round 2, Rocco had broken Moe's nose. Blood spurted out and filled his t-shirt with crimson. Moe had difficulty breathing. Rocco had driven him into the corner. He must have hit Moe with 10 unanswered blows to the face and body. Moe grabbed Rocco's arms and held on. Moe's legs were clearly wobbly. The bell sounded. Moe was saved from certain defeat. At ringside, a boxing old-timer climbed up to help Moe in the corner. He wiped the blood from Moe's face, clearing his eyes. He held an ice bag on Moe's nose. "Son, you're taking quite a beating out there." Moe looked at the man. "Do you have any advice?" "Well, you're from Brooklyn, aren't you? I think you better go out there and show them what you're made of." "That's it?" Moe asked. "That's your advice?" "Yes, that's it. Get out there and kick the shit out of him. And you better not waste any more time doing it." The bell for round 3 rang. Moe knew Rocco was coming in for the kill. He ducked Rocco's right and hit him square in the solar plexus. He could hear Rocco gasp for air. He had found Rocco's sweet spot. He drove him back against the ropes with a series of punches to the midsection. He worked the ribs, hitting Rocco with everything he had. Moe could swear he saw steam coming out of Rocco's face. He had angered the bull. He had a choice to either run until the round ended or square off with the meanest fighter he had ever met. As the noise level grew at ringside, Moe felt the room was shrinking. Rocco suddenly lunged at Moe, hitting him square in the face. He went down. Slowly, Moe used the ropes to regain his footing. He crouched down low and came up with a powerful right uppercut, which caught Rocco by surprise. Rocco fell back a few feet. Moe pursued and hit him again with the right cross. Rocco tried to steady himself. Moe caught him again with a left uppercut. He drove his fist into Rocco's right rib with everything he had left. Rocco's legs wobbled. Moe's instinct took over. His hands worked faster like he was on speed bag. The adrenaline had taken over. Moe was angry for the first time in the ring. He let go of trying to protect himself. He wanted Rocco gone. A right uppercut caught Rocco just as the bell rang, ending round 3. He was hurt, but Rocco would not go down for the count. The crowd was out of control. It would be 30 minutes before the noise subsided. A chorus of "Moe, Moe, Moe" erupted. The ring announcer called the end of the fight. Moe's head was pounding. No one could break his spirit or his pride. He had lasted 3 rounds with Rocco Rosetti. He collected his $100 from the announcer. But his biggest challenge was still ahead of him. How would he get home? His friend Artie Shaw arrived at Rosie's as quickly as he could. Moe was still sitting in the dressing room. He held an ice bag on his nose. Blood was everywhere. It was obvious he had taken a vicious beating. "What the hell happened?" Artie asked. Moe looked up. "I think a freight train hit me," Moe responded. "But if it makes you feel any better, I don't think the freight train is going anywhere tonight." I hope you enjoyed the excerpt, and you'll find Moe Fields at your local bookstore, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It's a story about fathers and sons, and most importantly, about family. I hope you'll enjoy it.